What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I just want to start this episode off by saying I've went to McDonald's to get a coffee, and as far as coffees go, McDonald's has to be one of the worst ones out there. I'm just going to say it. I want to know, what is your favourite coffee order, or where is your favourite coffee places to go to? To me, I'm actually enjoying a good wee Starbucks, but I must admit I need to stop going to these main chains and start supporting the local businesses, because they care more, and this honestly just tastes like it's been manufactured and it's stinking. Anyway, today's episode, we are talking about probably something that's best suited for this time of the month. We've moved into February. January is gone. There is 11 months yet left of 2025. How is the fitness goals going? Well, this is where the challenges start to come into play. This is where things start to break down and some inconsistency starts to creep in. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over what are some of the common reasons why that happens in the first place. Having a conversation with a few clients, and all of them actually turning around saying to me, why do you think that happens in the first place? And it's a fair point. So if we understand the why, then you can be better suited to tackle when it happens to you, because guess what? It happens to us all. There is everything that I'm going through on this, we all experience, or we all have experienced, and bringing it to light is one of the most challenging ways, or one of the best ways to overcome that challenge, should I say. Now, if you're watching on Spotify and YouTube, we're in the new studio. Woohoo! I have had this room built for 7 months, done nothing with it. It's just a hassle to take the equipment through from the podcast studio that we hire out and bring it through into here. But the podcast studio is a separate business model. And if you didn't know, that follows under the brand of Built to Proof Studios. And that is Jill's house. That's her cup of tea. Although we're both in it together. She runs that side. I do the coaching side of things. And business is going well on that side of things. More and more people are hiring out the studio. So more and more people are getting the same background. So I want to, having my own studio, I want to change it up a little bit. And I'm not even wearing a hat today, right? I've went all out today. I've done my hair. I've had a haircut. It's Jillian's birthday at the point of recording this, a few days after this. And yeah, we're looking fresh. We're feeling good. So rate this setup. What things do you think I'm missing? I am thinking we're going to put a mural up here of Cooper. And then on these shelves, we need to get some anime stuff. I'm sorry. It has to have anime and gaming stuff has to go up there. And it's going to be fun. Right, so let's get into it. What would you say? Have a think about this. What is one of the biggest reasons why people fall off? What comes to mind? When asked this question, the first thing that comes to mind for me is lack of progress. And I guess it all stems from the kind of cheesy saying of whatever goals, right? We need clear expectations and goals set, and that's going to help us drive towards that target. So most people around Christmas time, something around about weight, some say strength goals, performance, an event, whatever it may be, the goal is set, and then they get into January and start hammering the gym. When they get into the gym, if it's around the weight, or if the measurement that they've decided is going to be weight on the scales, week 1, never done anything, start doing something, the scales are going to drop. Week 2, never done anything, you start doing something, you're consistent doing something, the scales will drop. Week 3, week 4, this is where your body starts leveling out a bit, especially if nothing's been done on the nutrition side of things, or nothing's been done, not saying nothing, a lot of people kind of underestimate the power of tracking calories, because when they go into quote unquote eating better food, the calorie intake doesn't necessarily change, and it's their activity increase that is the reason for them edging towards their goals. And here we're talking about the weight loss and the scales, but the weight then halts, right? And you're putting in a graft and you think to yourself, I thought I would have lost more weight by this point, or I haven't lost weight, might be the scenario. Now, this is early days to say that this is going to happen for some of you guys in February, but some of you may have faced it in the past. And if this is your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh attempt, kind of going through a fat loss phase and trying to change your body composition, your body will be stubborn on shifting some of that weight. And the way that it becomes stubborn is just all those times that you've tried something, it just comes to a halt, right? And your body's like, no, I know you. We don't know when you're going to eat more food, or we're doing too much activity, so we need this energy store because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And that's usually the first psychological breakdown in most people's fitness journey. The whole, man, I thought we'd have more by now. And then you look at the effort of what's been perceived, right? So you look at the shift in the graph that's been put in. Now, in comparison to the previous 6 months, or maybe even the previous year, it's phenomenal. And more people should be patting themselves in the back to say, look, here, you fucking smashed it these past couple of weeks. Keep up the good work. But it's so weird that these unrealistic expectations is the downfall of most people's fitness goals. Even myself, like training the first time round, I thought I'd do a bit of running and I would get so much faster at running, but that wasn't enough to make drastic changes. It gave me the ability to run, but when we start talking about performance or the goal that I had set in running, it wasn't there, and it comes on to some of these other points. So patience has to be a thing, right? And this is why if you are looking at your routine for the week, and when in a highly motivated state, you've decided, I'm going to smash the gym 5-6 days a week, the reality is you're probably not, right? Even the best of us, yes, you've got the different communities, right? So you've got like your fitness advocates that will hammer the gym 4, 5, 6 days, right? And then you've got someone that's more like, I mean, as much as I'm a fitness advocate, I can fall into the category of, look, I've got things I need to work on from a business point of view. I've got family things. I've got just mine and Jillian's time. So the fitness side of my goals is going to take the back seat. And that's where I then modify my week to, I'm going to work out 2-3 times this week. And bringing that expectation down a little bit, although there is an argument to be made, will that not just prolong the result or prolong achieving the goal? Potentially. But see, more often than not, you end up hitting the goal because the other option is you burning out. And that is the kind of next point here. You're kind of doing too much too soon. And I always say, said this many times in the podcast, that you can overdo this at the start, right? Something is definitely better than nothing, but it's about these gradual increases, these small steps. We're climbing the mountain, and you're one step at a time, 1 foot in front of the other, instead of trying to like jump all these different steps and leapfrog your way up. Like, take your time with it, because that, 1, won't burn you out, 2, will have better longevity in terms of the results that you end up hitting, and 3, which is the kind of point why I brought this up in the first place, you can learn to appreciate what it is that you're doing, okay? Now, while I'm on the subject of this, it's probably worth addressing the lack of enjoyment, okay? And this is a big fucking frustration of mine. So, a lot of people, if you think, why, in a world where information is easy to get a hold of, it's very easy to listen to podcasts and get an understanding of what to do in the gym. There's more gyms than we ever have had, and they're reasonably cheap, like so duck cheap. Like, some gyms are 12 quid, 15 quid, 20 quid, 25 quid, even 50 quid a month, right? Let's be honest, for the duration of the month, getting access to a facility with showers and equipment and heat and all that sort of stuff, that's cheap, right? So the world that we live in, why is it that there's still a health and fitness crisis, I guess, if you want to call it? I'm not just going to label this with just obesity, because there's then underweight. And I would say the biggest issue with health and fitness is the lack of muscle and strength. I genuinely believe that. I'm seeing more and more people that are reaching out to me, and I'm bringing them in for assessments in late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, even 40s. Like, their body, their biological age is far beyond their actual, forget the name of it, but their actual age. So being 31, 32, but their body's moving as if they're in their mid to late 50s. Like, that's wild. So that all comes back to this strength and muscle, right? So if we've got all of these gyms and all that at disposal, why do people not go to it? Well, there's a mindset and there's a common perception that it's not enjoyable, right? there's no enjoyment. I don't know how you can do that. I'd hate that. And this all stems from people who have went into the gym, they've went into this fitness cycle, boot camps, HIIT classes, whatever it is, and the cycle has been, I am doing this out of punishment because I hate how I look. I hate how fat I am. I hate that I binged ate last night, and all of these behaviours build up over time. And if you do it out of hate, you will not enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, that motivation of why you're doing it in the first place will start to lean off. So punishment and consistency or punishment will lead to your consistency dropping off. You might think it's a good idea to do. And look, as I spoke about on the 100k, as I'm getting through to that last few laps, I'm like, fuck Dale, like you've got a podcast called Bulletproof Mindset and you can't even run 25 more laps. Look at the state you're in. And our mind defaults to that negative framing because if you're in the UK, it's part of the culture, right? I hate it. And then it's probably why so many people are moving away. And it's why I've been very distant with or cut off some friendships with friends and family, because every time we're sort of talking or meeting up, those conversations is all around a negative tone and it's never like, there's never praise, right? And that does mess with your mentality. So don't, if you're in this just now and you're thinking, I'm working out because I hate how fat I am, I hate how big I've got, I hate what I've done to my health, kind of try and switch the mindset a little bit, right? You're not doing it out of hate. You're actually doing it out because you're like, right, okay, the choices that I've made have led me to where I am just now. Yes, that might be a bad thing, good thing. It doesn't matter. It's your frame of mind. It's your perception. But what you are doing is you're doing something to change it. So you need to find something that you do and you can enjoy. And that's where high intensity workouts, as much as I've loved the whole High Rocks stint, I know a lot of people are getting swept up under that High Rocks bracket, pushing your heart rate to that maximal effort for 2-3 classes throughout the week. I don't think it's the right move. I honestly don't think it's the right play. You might think you enjoy it to start with, but then you build up this strong correlation or this strong partnership that I need to feel absolutely done in, heart rate through the roof, blown out my backside, sweating my pan in to know that I get a good workout, because that gives you the endorphins. And you never really truly learn the beauty in strength training and resistance training, which is sets, rest times in between, seeing your body progressively get stronger over time. So don't make it punishment. Now, the whole self-doubt and negative mindset is another reason. So feeling like progress is too slow, it's unattainable is maybe the thought that starts to creep into your mind. And I'll bring this back to the 100k. Before the 100k, I'm like, yeah, I think I can do this. And then the closer to the day I get, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. As I'm doing it, I'm like, okay, this is all right. As it starts to get challenging, which everybody's fitness journey is going to hit that wall where things start to get hard and you have a decision to make at that point. And most people's decision is this self-doubt, this negative mindset that creeps in and says, who do you think you are? You can't do that. You can't lose the weight. You've tried it before. Remember those diets, and you've got all these past experiences where you have the perception of that if you failed it, and that starts creeping into your mind, right? So progress, as I said, you need to be a wee bit more patient with, but that thought that this is unattainable is going to make you want to quit, right? And the only way you fuck this up, right? The only way you mess up your fitness and health journey, whatever that means to you, is if you stop. If you give up completely, then okay, yeah, you have failed. But as long as you're trying, and I know there's a lot of frustration in trying and doing things, and some things working for you and then some things not working for you, but that's the whole point of the game, right? That's the whole point of this process. It's about showing up. And if you can continuously show up, trust me, that compounds over time. Might not seem like much today, but fast forward to September, fast forward to October, November, December, you're background into January, and you're like, man, you know what? That's probably one of my best years yet. And as much as I opened up this episode and said, oh, there's 11 months left of the year, you're not done when the year's end. You're on to the next chapter, and you constantly keep progressing through those chapters of life. We only get one life, we get one body, and this is your chance to look after it, and look after it in the way that you can find enjoyment out of, but also know that you're future-proofing this kind of physical pension that you're trying to build. So find ways of switching that mindset, right? All those past experiences weren't failures, they were learning opportunities. And if you view them as a failure, then cool. Failure's great. Failure is one of the best metrics that you can get to go, right, that never worked because of this, and this, right? Let's actually use an example, right? Someone who tries a carnivore diet, or someone who tries a carnivore diet, and they're like, right, this, and this didn't work. Really craved bread, really craved potatoes, and then had a birthday party and had cake. So you see the carnivore diet as a complete failure to yourself, but it wasn't. You experienced it. What was the good from it? Well, I noticed when I increased my meat, I had more energy levels. Okay, let's take that learning away. Probably means that the nutrition plan for you, we should be hitting maybe the protein goals, maybe introducing a wee bit more meat. Okay, what's the downfalls? What's the things that you see as a failure? Well, when I got to like family gatherings or parties or out with friends, like I found myself like just craving chips and potatoes. Right, okay, so can there be a world where you have this balanced diet? Can there be a world where you still have those things and just maybe do a split between the week, or maybe just lower it or bring it into your nutrition day-to-day stuff just at a lower quality, right? There's ways to reverse engineer that, and you can't reverse engineer what you don't know. And inaction is one of the things that's going to hold you up. How many people have you heard that said that they're going to start and get into their fitness, and they're going to get into their fitness? Before you know it, we're 3 years down the line, they're still saying the same thing. Here, like I am the fitness guy, right? I'm in the space of health, fitness, and bettering people's lives through physical strength and all that sort of stuff, right? That does carry over to other aspects, but see, in the business world, I get the same thing. I am like, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to make this perfect. And it's like, no, fucking just do it. Do it. If it fails, change it, reverse engineer it, try again. And that's the whole process of where trying to overcome this sort of negative mindset and this self-doubt and the lack of enjoyment, okay? Now, I guess a few other ones. Loss of motivation is probably a common answer, right? I'm just not motivated anymore. And motivation it comes and goes. We may have heard me speak about this before. Like, really, when you look at motivation, what is it? It's the skill of discipline. It's the ability to go, right, not relying on that feeling, that because you can feel good some days, you can feel bad other days. That's really what motivation is. Motivation is a feeling. We're hyped up. We're feeling the music. Your favourite song comes on, or you're in a good mood, you know. Sometimes you're going to have a shitty night's sleep, and you may have ordered that takeaway that you didn't necessarily want to do, but you gave into a craving. These are all things that start to break that motivation down. However, when the motivation is low, the skill of discipline is what's going to carry you through. So being able to push through those moments of, I guess, weakness, if you want to call it that. Now, this is going to look different for absolutely everyone. So for some people, you're going to have one hand where they have little to no discipline. So simple things of going, right, how do I work on the skill of discipline? Well, we're going to establish a habit tracker, something that we can track to say, what is some things that you want to do? Okay, I want to hit 12,000 steps. Well, what are you hitting just now? I'm hitting 4,000 steps. Let's be more realistic. Let's hit 6,000. How many days can you do that? And those little wins of saying that you were going to do something and then you achieved it, that's a little layer of resilience in your mind to say, yeah, I can fucking do this. I can get after this. So remember, your initial excitement, especially if results don't come immediately, that will fade. And if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to change your body composition, if you're trying to see strength gains, although you can see them in a short space of time, realistically, it's a long journey. It's a forever journey, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. Something that you're always working towards. Maybe not necessarily the weight goal, but it's something that you're always going to be doing in the health and fitness space, right? Now, why would motivation drop off? Well, again, as I said, it can be sleep, it can be food, it can be your goal, your reason for starting. If you're in a world and in a society where the norm is to be unhealthy, the norm is to have more body fat, the norm is not to be strong, then there's a lot of external feedback telling you, oh, why do you want to lose the weight? Like, look at all of us over here. We're fine, we're comfortable, we can still have a good life. And it's not that you can't, I guess, yeah, it's not that you can't have a bad life if you don't work out. You see a lot of people, we've got technology, we live in a world where we can get these dopamine spikes and this pleasure from gaming, from Netflix, Amazon Prime, like you name it. But the reality is that we don't see the long-term impact until it's too late. So we don't see the detriments to our health. We don't see how that messes with our alcohol intake, our nutrition intake, some people's drugs intake, and these addictions starts to then take over our life. Then before you know it, it's a harder hill to climb because there's been so many years built up. And a lot of you guys might actually fall into that position, but understanding why, right, cool. And then back to the previous point, right, you know what, it's something I'm going to chip away at. Okay, so one of the last ones, and then we'll come on to, right, I know I've kind of touched on some things that we can do to overcome that, but life is going to get busy, right? And back to what I was saying earlier, like 6 days a week is a big commitment if it's something that you've not been very consistent with. So poor time management is one of the biggest things that will catch a lot of people out. So I was having this conversation with a client this morning, and the goal is to try and get close to 12,000 steps just now. And yesterday was a day of 8,000, right? So still pretty good. And this was a day where a lot of you guys might relate to this, where it's a busy day at work and you're stuck behind a desk or you're out on the road, you're driving, and there's not much opportunity within the day to break that up. So default mindset is, yeah, like yesterday it's just so hard when you're so busy. It's like, yeah, it is hard, but what can we do? Right, let's reflect on yesterday. Let's look at different points throughout the day. So we worked out in the morning, cool. That workout in the morning was a shorter workout. Probably would have made sense just to bolster a wee 20-minute walk on top of that. Yeah, is that something that can happen? Yes, right, cool. There's a 1,500 steps, maybe even 2,000 steps. Okay, next part of the day. Throughout the day is the breaks, is the lunch breaks, is the parts where you find yourself sitting for long periods of times. Yeah, there's maybe one, but I was driving for most of it. Okay, so there's no opportunity in there. Okay, the day, as soon as you come home, yeah, came home, straight in the house, etc. Is the opportunity there? Well, there probably is, and you've got family and things like this that are going to change from person to person, but if you can create it around the family, then great. But this is an opportunity where it's come home, saying this, and it's like 10, 15 minutes. It's an hour, 10, 15 minute walk, and that would have helped that individual get towards that goal. So there's always opportunity. And time management is a hard thing. So life's going to get busy, workouts are going to get skipped, goals or habits won't be met all the time. And it comes down to, like, what can you prioritize differently? So don't see it as a failure, or even if you do see it as a failure, it's kind of looking at it and going, right, could anything have changed? And see if the answer's no, then you're at your capacity on that day. But be realistic with yourself. Like, a lot of people say, oh, you know, I really struggle to hit more than 3,000 steps. It's like, no, there's definitely time there. It becomes a matter of what are you prepared to sacrifice and what are you prepared to prioritise. It comes down to that simple kind of thought process and analogy. Okay, so they're all the kind of majority of the reasons as to why people fall off. And there's some counters to that of things that you can do. I'll recap them in a little sec. But see, one of the easiest things that's left on the table, I didn't realise how important this was until I started working in gyms and seeing, well, not even working gyms, it actually goes back before that, where you would be in the gym and you're talking, you see the same people, you start talking to them and see the amount of, I would go as far as say, see out with the people who are being coached by coaches, the general pop that go into the gym, that don't have a plan and are just sort of making it up as they go into the gym. They're maybe following this loose structure. So much has been left on the table for those individuals. And this, I would say, has to be up there with one of the strongest reasons why people fall off, because there is no structure to fall back on. It's too easy to say, I'll go to the gym and I'll do my push session. And then it gets to that time, you're like, yeah, I'll just do my push session tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow. And then before you know it, you're like, I've not went to the gym this week. That's all right, I'll start next week. If you've got a structure and a plan, then you're looking at that and going, right, I've got 3 days I need to get, right, there's day 1, there's day 2, there's day 3. And then when you're in it, it's like, right, that's the workout, that's the sets, that's what I lifted. So much is taking care of you. And just that whole mentality of understanding, or not even understanding, or trying to plan what you're going to do in those sessions, That's stealing energy and mental kind of brain power away from other things. So if you're already like a wee bit more stressed, you've not got much motivation, you know your discipline's quite low, when it gets to the point where you have to go in and then decide what sort of workout that you're doing, you're not going to do it. Or you're going to find it way more challenging to do it because you need more brain power to go, right, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. And as I said before, don't care how intuitive you are or what you think's best, following a structure of your own accord is still better than following no structure, but there's a good chance that you'll talk yourself out some exercises. You'll talk yourself out some workout days. You'll talk yourself out some habits that you know maybe you want to achieve, but you don't necessarily end up achieving. We're all guilty of it, but it's just human nature, I guess, at the end of the day. So not having a plan, random workouts, inconsistent effort is another reason why, one, you don't see results, but also two, why you end up falling off, because there's nothing to measure. There is no data. Like if I ask you, right, okay, the first week that you worked out in January, what did you lift on your second exercise and what was the volume for that? You don't know. And usually week to week, there's the similarities in exercise, which you can see progress with, but more often than not, there's too much inconsistency with it. So you're then just, you may as well just go to a random circuit class each week. But again, you go to that random circuit class, you'll lead to burnout. So they are all the kind of reasons that when you break it down is why a lot of us will fall off track. So how do we stay on track? Well, kind of recap. So it probably starts with the why. It starts with the realistic, specific goal, okay? The reason I want to lose this weight is because of this. It's not out of hatred. It's out of I want to change. I know these behaviours have got to this point where I'm not feeling good in myself. In the goal, I want to feel this. I want to have better energy. I want to be alive for my kid's wedding. I want to have kids one day. Like the why to you is going to be different, okay? But get down into a strong why and then reverse engineer it from there. So let's say you want to lose 40 kilo, right? A lot of weight. We need to start with one, right? Can we drop 1 kilo off this month? That's where the realistic goals need to come into play, and setting these milestones to work towards and then achieve is better for you. Now, next part is probably the most important part. How do you stay on track? Well, you either get a structure when it comes to your workout plan, and if you're looking for a structure, the Bulletproof 12-week Strong program, that is what you want to download. We get so many great feedback with that. That is all mapped out, your steps, your workouts for 12 weeks. If you're someone that's going into the gym and you're just sort of mincing about, this is perfect for you. On the other hand, finding accountability partners. So this can be friends, it can be your partner, it could be the group side of things, or it can be a coach. A coach has to be up there with one of the best things you can do to ingrain those habits and those lifelong pursuits that you want to achieve. So if you've got a health and fitness goal, like why would you do it on your own? Yes, okay, there's a lot of information out there for free, but even if it's for a short period of time, you'll reap more rewards from working with someone for a short space of time, because then you can apply what they've tried to instill or their advice and all that sort of stuff, and then carry that through. Friends are great as well, because you're both kind of showing up for each other and you don't want to let the other one down. But accountability is one of the main things that you can do to overcome this. As I said, a workout structure is something that allows you to track your data. Being able to track beyond weight, using weight in the scales as the only measurement ain't going to work. So I would say use weight, do some sort of like measurement around your waist, your hips, your arms and your thighs is a good place to start. Find something to do with strength. So usually holding your body weight on a deadlift bar, seeing how long you can hold that for. You could do the big lifts. Can you squat? Can you deadlift? Can you bench press? Overhead press? If you can't do those movements, then that's where your kind of first part you might want to work towards, rather than try to lose the weight in the scales. It's like, right, okay, the importance of some of these big movements I understand I need to be doing, but I'm not doing them because I'm not good at them. Okay, do I maybe hire a coach to learn them, or do I go into my own journey and try and learn them myself? Whatever you choose to do, it's a good idea that becomes the first goal. That's the first milestone to hit. Can I do a squat? Can I do a barbell squat? If I can't, what's things that I need to work on? This then makes the journey more interesting. It makes the journey more enjoyable because there is progression out with the scales and the weight. And those things alone will make some of the biggest differences to counter all those points that we said before. Now, you're going to have low days. You're going to have days where you miss the gym. I just want to reiterate that point that the only reason you will fail is if you give up, right? And you need to find ways that you can challenge your mindset or go into different groups or speak to different people that help you in that scenario. Constantly comparing yourself to other people's journeys isn't going to do it. And constantly comparing yourself to an older version of you where you're maybe in a different shape, again, like, why are you comparing 21-year-old you to 35-year-old you, right? There's 16 years in between that. No, there's 14 years in between that. However many years in between that is a long duration of time where you haven't been focused on this goal of health and fitness, or you've been in and out of it, should I say. And if that's you, then cool. But there's no, oh, I wish I'd done that sooner. You didn't. You've got a chance to do it now. And that's that's the conversation that you can have to yourself when you turn 50, when you're 45, when you're in that stage of life and you're going, I should have done it then. Definitely should have done it then. And even if you're in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s, fast forward another 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, again, you'll wish that you started when you had the ability to start. Because if you're listening to this podcast, then look, you are in the top 1%. You're in a fortunate position that you have your health, and hopefully none of you are going through a crazy health scare or something that is detrimental to you potentially losing your life. But that day may well come, and if when it does, there's going to be a lot of regret and a lot of, I wish I'd done X, Y, and Z, right? And I know that's kind of a wee bit morbid, but health and fitness is one of the best things we can do to combat those stages of life that may come our way. And I ain't leaving that up to chance. So, and I don't think you want to leave that up to chance too. So that kind of wraps up for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that. If there's any questions that you've got for me, let me know. What I would say is, because I spoke about the program and I spoke about coaching, on the link below this video, if you want to get involved with the 12-week workout program, you're talking about like just shy of £12 per week, or £12 per week, I think it works out at, for the 12 weeks. You can cancel at any time, but if you're in the gym and you're sort of making it up, that structure is perfect for you. It's 3 days a week. You can get away with doing 2 days a week, but it's a great structure that's going to help you maximize the results that you get, but also keep consistent through these next couple of months that become more challenging. And once you're over that hurdle, by the way, it's probably worth mentioning that you gain momentum. You have the skill of discipline. You reap all these rewards more and more. As I said at the start, you don't really notice it as much, but a couple of months down the line, that momentum that you've gained, you're like, fuck yeah, like this feels great. And then before you know, you start getting annoyed at yourself because you missed a workout, and once upon a time you didn't care that you missed a workout. Those sort of the mindset shifts start to happen. The other thing I was saying about coaching, so if you're looking for coaching, like in February, well, I would probably say in March, I'm opening up some small group PTing again, and I'm going to do some stuff locally with the workshops and like squat workshops and deadlift workshops. That's going to be coming up soon. But if you want some kind of one-on-one coaching, I will open up a couple of spaces if you guys are interested. I'll leave a link on how you can register, and we can have a wee chat to see if it's the right fit for you, and see if it's something you want to kind of work towards. And that can be blended with remote coaching and also meeting in person. So if you want someone to help you through that, then you can let me know and check out the link below. And yeah, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Coach Crossar, at Bulletproof Mindset, and on YouTube at Bulletproof Mindset. So we'll leave it there. Thank you. I love you and leave you. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.